In this video I'm going to give you a little overview of the new kite aerial photography rig that I made. So this is an automatic kite aerial photography rig, or AutoKAP. So on the top I have a rotation servo, so that'll rotate the whole thing so I can take pictures at any pan to any angle. And then there's a shutter servo, and there's a battery. So this is a 2-cell lithium polymer battery. Found I don't need a lot of capacity to run this thing, so it's only, I think, 360 milliamp hours and only weighs about 20 grams, so it's very light. And there's a controller, which I'll get to more in just a minute, and then the camera. So the camera is the Sony RX0, which I think is a really great camera for kite aerial photography because, for one thing, it's only 110 grams, so that's about 4 ounces, I think. And it's waterproof and shockproof. And it takes really great pictures. So the sensor is a 1-inch type sensor, which is about the biggest kind that you'll find in any compact point and shoot type of camera. To get something bigger than that, you would need to go to something like a mirrorless or DSLR camera. And it has a really sharp fixed 24 millimeter equivalent lens, so you get a wide angle but not like a fisheye type of thing like with a GoPro. You'll still get kind of more traditional style pictures, just wide angle. And yeah, and it's very small, so just to give you a little impression of how big it is, here's my hand. And I said the camera was 110 grams. The entire rig is only 300 with everything. So for an AutoKAP rig and this quality of pictures, I think that's really good. All right, so let's tell you a little bit about the controller. So this is called the Pololu Micro Maestro servo controller. It's 6 channels. I'm only using 2 of them, so I'm only using the shutter servo and then the rotation servo. And then I have the battery plugged in, and then there's a little jumper there, and the purpose of that is just to allow the battery to power the servos and the board also, as opposed to having a separate power source for the board. So this little thing is pretty cool. You can program really anything you want, and it's not hard to program either. You don't actually need to know any programming languages to do it. It comes with some software that basically lets you record motions and then turn that into a script that'll run when you plug it in. And if you're interested in this, you can look in the description of this video where I have a link to another video that talks about how to do that. So it's pretty cool. One more thing, so I did mention there's a shutter servo. So one downside of this camera is that it doesn't have a built-in intervalometer like a lot of cameras that people use for CAP do, or like the PowerShots, where for most of them you can put in custom firmware to do it. So this one doesn't have any kind of option like that. However, the servo is only, I think, 8 grams or something, so it was really trivial to add that in since I was going to do the rotation one anyway. There is a Mark II of this camera, which I believe has an intervalometer built in. So if you really need that, you could look into that. It also has better video capabilities, including stabilization, which this one doesn't have. So if you're in a video, you might also be interested in looking at that. However, the Mark II is quite a bit more expensive, and this one wasn't cheap either. So, it just depends on how much you're willing to spend. For me, I'm mostly interested in stills, so this seems like a really good plan. Before I go any further, I'm just going to plug this in. So this will be a little demonstration. I have to put this camera down to plug it in, so sorry about that. All right, so I've just plugged in the battery, and the way I've set this up is I have currently a 1-minute delay, so when I plug it in, it doesn't start taking pictures immediately. It waits a little while. For the video, I'm just doing a 1-minute delay. I think when I actually fly it, I'll probably do a 5-minute delay to give me time to get it up in the air. And let me turn on the camera. All right, so I think that's on. Yep. Okay, so I've programmed this. I already mentioned the 1 minute, or the variable delay, 1 minute right now. But what else it does is after that delay is over, it will start taking pictures using the shutter servo. So every 5 seconds it'll take a picture, and then the rotation servo will rotate by about 15 degrees, and then it'll take another picture and keep doing that until I set up a limit of 400. So if I don't unplug it before then, it'll go for 400 and then stop. So that gives me about 30-35 minutes. But you can see it's working. Since this thing is programmable, you can really do any sort of motions that you want with it. You just have to program the board. So obviously you could, since it's 6 channels, you could put in a pitch servo too if you wanted. So if you want to not just have it rotate, but also pitch up and down and all around, you could do a lot of different things. But I'm pretty excited to try this. I haven't actually gotten to fly it yet. I just finished building it. But I think it should work great. So thanks for watching the video, and that's all.